I got my photography instructor, his name, date of birth, when he was born.
Okay, so you do the astrology thing,
right? Well, she said he has an eye condition that it's really bothering him, but it could be fixed from vitamins and stuff. Well, when he heard this, he like freaked out.
Just from looking at his chart?
Doing his chart, yeah.
Okay.
Well, he started taking the vitamins, his eyebrows, his vision improved. He said, Frankie, being an artist and a photographer my whole life, there's nothing more important to me than my vision.
Sure.
And he said, and he claimed that I was like an angel sent from God to him, you know. And, well, in this book, the guy talked about how this woman went into these past lifetimes, and into this one lifetime, she said, and I'm with my teacher. And he goes, well, who's your teacher? And she said, you know. And she said, and your son, and that's when he freaked out, because he had a crib death. He had a baby, lived a few months, and your son said that he wanted to spend a lifetime on earth here with you and your wife, but he wasn't ready for another physical lifetime.
Like, how could she know that?
Yeah, how could she? That's when he became a believer. Well, now, the most important message that the spirit gods were giving this man, messages, he wrote the book about it. The most important message from these spirit gods to the psychiatrist was to let the world know, don't fear death.
Okay.
Don't fear death. That the spirit lives on forever, and don't fear death. And before you leave this world, make sure you get rid of greed, lust, and forgive everybody.
Well,
and it's gonna
because you can't do it over there so easily.
And it's going to make your next lifetime better. Well, you know, don't fear death. You know, that's exactly what religions prey on.
Sure.
Death.
Yeah,
they scare the shit out of you when you die, you know. They make us all believe that there is this little red man with horns and a tail, you know, and I mean, yeah, people
believe it. And you're headed there if you don't do X, Y, and Z. What
amazes me is people believe in the Garden of Eden.
Right.
They believe in limbo and purgatory.
Right.
They believe that the sea opened up for Moses. But when I talk about this book, which is
it's heresy.
When I talk about this book, which is one of the greatest books I've ever read, The 12th Planet, what it claims, they talk about Samaria, southern Iraq. Well, they found a map, 5000 BC, of 12 planets. They found a statue. And now the map, the statue, and the carvings are all in museums right in this country. They found a statue, 5000 BC, of an astronaut, a spaceman with the suit and everything.
Oh, right.
And they found carvings in walls in Samaria of spaceship, space rocket ships, and spacemen. You know, but yet when you tell somebody that civilization was started on Earth because these people from another planet needed natural resources like gold and silver and ore, people go, oh, that's so ridiculous, how could you believe that? But yet they'll believe in the Garden of Eden where man had a rib taken and made a woman, or they'll believe, like every time I see a blonde-haired, blue-eyed little girl, she looked like she evolved from an ape. You know, they'll believe in evolution from apes, but they won't believe that a civilization came from another planet, you know. Then they say, so what are you saying, that God came from another planet? Well, excuse me, if the Creator invented Earth, why didn't He create the whole solar system?
Sure.
You know, I mean, He would have created it all, wouldn't He?
Right.
But yet people, you know, they're so set in their ways that people coming from another planet for, you know, ore and natural resources, that sounds so off the wall, but the Garden of Eden and limbo and purgatory, you know, when you think about religion, the theological is junk. I'll give you an example. One time in Catechism, our chapter for the month was the Ten Commandments. Well, the next month, it was the Crusaders. Now, the first day of the Crusaders, we see this film of the Crusaders just killing all these Huns and Moors and these horrible men, you know? And it was so funny, because all the Crusaders were dressed nice and well-shaved, and the guys they were fighting all looked like beasts. After the end of the movie, I remember saying to my nun, her name was Sister Maria Assunta. I said, Sister Maria Assunta, we just did the Ten Commandments, and it says, thou shalt not kill.
Yeah.
I just seen thousands of men killed. She said, well, you don't understand, Frankie.
You don't.
These crusaders were killing in the name of God. Well, to me, killing in the name of God is like fucking for virginity. You know, that's my opinion of killing in the name of God. But yet, people will believe shit like the Garden of Eden, all these ridiculous tales. But when you tell them, well, I feel that civilization, and what got me going on that, when I moved to Florida, the girl I moved down here was an avid reader. And she said to me, Frankie, you got to read this book. It was Charity of the Gods. I don't know if you ever read that.
Yeah.
Well, when I read that book, it was just so logical and so sensible, and I was so interested in that, reading this 12th planet. And then there's another book called Garden of Eden, that the guy who wrote Garden of Eden, he refers to this 12th planet all the time. And, Steve, they're logical.
Sure.
You know, but, you know, trying to be logical in a world where everybody believes in fairy tales, it's not easy.
No. Cool stuff.
Look, so many people, so close.